Hey, is it ever too late to start a new year? A new year with new habits, new practices, new disciplines, new hopes and goals? I don't think so. It's like the third week in January here, and I've got some things and some ideas to help us start this year off just right. Guys, this is the Youth Worker Daily. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Youth Worker Daily, where we hope to encourage youth workers like you with tools, tips, and resources that help you thrive in your youth ministry. My name is Jay Hyam, and I hope you had a great holiday season. We kind of shut things down here at the Youth Worker Daily for a number of weeks, probably a few more weeks than I had initially and originally planned. We were going to take some time off for Thanksgiving and then come back, do a few things before Christmas. We posted a couple of Christmas idea vlogs, but then some things came up and we had to put the vlog on hold so that we can get through the Christmas season. And even as we are now starting, I would have loved to have been able to come back to you guys at the very beginning of January, but that wasn't the case. So let me just give a quick explanation of why that is before we move into our topic for this week. So the Youth Worker Daily is something I do for fun. It's my way of taking the things that I've learned over my last 21 years of ministry full-time, the last almost 30 years of working with students and families in various different ways, bringing those things and kind of just sharing them with you and in ways that that I hope encourage you, sharing tips and helps and tools. It's why that's our little catchphrase there. You know, I just want to help. I just want to share some of the things that I've learned and pass them on to you. And when I come across great resources, I intend and hope to be able to share those resources with you, all with the effort of helping you thrive in your youth ministry. So with that said, this is not a full-time job for me. This is not something that I am currently cashing in on. It's just a little hobby and my hope to help you guys do well in youth ministry. So when things happen in the schedule, like life stuff with family, or maybe things in the church pick up and they get a little busier than normal, unfortunately I got to put this to the side because my priorities are my family and my role here at the church. And coming back after Thanksgiving, had a great time with my family, laid out some things that we wanted to do. But truth be told, it was my first Christmas here at the role at my new church, and I wanted to do it well. And so we just put the vlog on hold so that I could focus on the things that were happening around the church, so that I could be my very best. And we had an amazing Christmas season. Got some things happening here in the beginning of the year that needed my immediate attention. And now as we kind of move through into this new decade, I wanted to get back and share some things with you guys. And so that's where we are today. So thanks so much for sticking around and continuing to be looking at Youth Worker Daily. So without any further me ramblings, let's get into the topic for this week. What do you say? All right, guys, so we're in a new year, and I don't know if you're like me, but the new year for me is just another opportunity for me to kind of get a fresh start. I love the beginning of the year because it's a chance for me to think about some of the goals I have, think about some of the disciplines in my life, and where things have kind of slacked off. I get a fresh start to kind of fire those things back up again. So I love coming into the new year with that fresh sense of, hey, I'm going to improve in these areas. I'm going to do these things differently. And when I can, I'm just going to work at being a better husband, a better father, a better youth pastor, and a better disciple of Jesus. And so what I want to do is to start off this year with talking about some of those things and why I think it's good for us to set some goals and to kind of put some things out there for you as this new year begins. Now, later on in the week, we'll talk about some specifics, but today I just want to focus on why it's good for us to entertain these ideas and thoughts and move forward into New Year with them. Now, I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions. I think if you ever talk to people who make those resolutions, you're going to find out that most of us maybe make it a week, 2 weeks, and then we fall off the bandwagon, and those New Year's resolutions become New Year's resolutions for the year to come. We don't really follow through on those things. And I know that's true of me. For many years, I would write out New Year's resolutions and make these little promises that I would make improvements in my life. And the reality was I never followed through with them because partly they were just promises that I wrote down in my journal to me. And, I don't put a lot of pressure on myself to follow through on some of those things. And quite honestly, I don't get mad at myself when I don't follow those things. So it's probably a poor system for me to run through the idea of New Year's resolutions. But what I have started doing in my life, and I've been doing this for a number of years, is I do kind of take time to sit down and think about some of the goals I want to establish for the coming year. And I find, for me at least, that when I set goals, I can mark tangibly on calendars and in to-do lists, and even share them with my senior pastor. Here are the things that I'm hoping to accomplish in this next year. And what I try to do is I just come up with a number of things that I want to say, here are my goals for this new year. I list them out, and I kind of look at them more practically and say, okay, now, of these ideas, of these things that I want to do, what would be the best way for me to try to accomplish them? How can I arrange them in my life so that I can actually have a good shot of seeing these things happen? And so I'll prioritize them, and I'll put them in a place where I can work on them as I go throughout the course of the year. And I put kind of I don't want to call them deadlines, but I kind of put goal end markers so that, if I want to do certain things or see certain things, I try to give myself a window of time that seems reasonable where I can accomplish that goal. And it's become really helpful for me as I think about what I want to do with student ministry in the coming year. For instance, ending 2019, one of the goals I had coming into this new role was to spend a significant amount of time recruiting leaders for our middle school and high school programs. And now that the end of the year has come, we've had those conversations with folks, and I'm thrilled to be starting the new year with a number of new student ministry volunteers that are going to be joining our teams. So now I come into the new year and I say, okay, now what's my goal? Having accomplished that, what's my next goal as I work with these volunteers? And so I'll say something like, well, one is I know I need to recruit more volunteers because as the student ministry grows, I'm going to need more volunteers. So that continues to be a goal and a priority. But also the pledge or the promise that we make to our volunteers is that we're going to equip them and we're going to encourage them. We're going to pour into them. And so it becomes a goal for me to develop a plan in which we can do that. And so that's just a quick example. But I find goals to be super helpful when we can list them out, give us reasonable lengths of time to develop them and work them into a practice. And I think it's really good for us to kind of pass that on to maybe whoever is our mentor or someone in our network or someone who's an accountability partner so that they know that we are striving to accomplish something good and new in this coming year. Now, this week I'm going to share with you a couple things that we can do in the way of goals that we may want to set for ourselves, and we'll get into them here later on this week. But for right now, I just want you to be thinking, resolutions versus goals. How have you had success with one or the other in the years past? Are you a good resolution setter, and do you keep your resolutions? Or do you find that starting resolutions, you only get through a couple weeks and those resolutions become just empty promises? Or are you a goal-oriented person? Are you one who sits down at the beginning of the year and begins to set goals for yourself and a timeline for how you want to see those goals accomplished? I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts and practices are. You can leave them in the comments below. I'd be really excited to have a little bit of conversation with you on that. But that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you so much for checking in on the Youth Worker Daily. As always, be sure to follow us on our social media platforms. All of those things you can find us at Youth Worker Daily. That is YTH Worker Daily Come hang out with us, connect with us, share in the conversations that we have going on all those platforms. And of course, head back to the youthworkerdaily.com. We'll be making some changes here for the new year, putting up some new resources that you can download, and linking you up with some great tools that you can purchase. All that said and done, thanks so much for watching. Hey guys, it's a great new year. Let's make it even greater. All right, we'll see you next time right here on the Youth Worker Daily.